What's up YouTube? Back with another gear review, and it is this, the OEX TACANA Solo Stove. This is actually a review on a year's worth of use on this. I've had a lot of in-depth use on this. It's been used quite a few times. There are some things that I love about it. There are some things that I really dislike about it. So let's get into it. So this is it. This is the OEX TACANA Solo Stove that I purchased a year ago from Go Outdoors for a discounted price of £42. Now these at the moment are retailing at £79 from Go Outdoors, but you can often get these on a deal like I did. Now what I'll do is I'll just quickly set it up as I normally would when I'm out wild camping. Super easy to do once you know how to do it. I did have a lot of trouble the first time I set this up because I just didn't have a clue how to do it, and I didn't bother reading the instructions. So it comes with all the components. You've got your gas canister legs, which this gas canister will actually sit on. Let's take this lid off. Goes in there, nice and snug, but not too snug, and you can actually rotate that. Then we're going to put the stove body on top, flipping this regulator out and just twisting it on like so. Super easy, not too tight. Then on top of that, you're just going to put the stove itself on there, so it's on there tight, and the lid goes on. And that is how you put it together. Super easy, super quick. Now, what I do like about this is it is a very generous sized pot, and I've cooked things ranging from instant noodles to mashed potatoes in it, so it's quite versatile. The first thing to note is it has a hard plastic lid in a nice orange red color with a rubber handle on the top. That handle is quite nice. It's quite easy to grip, but this hard plastic lid isn't really something I'm too keen on, mainly because if I were to drop this on a rock, it would crack or, you know, smash maybe. It is what it is. The pot itself is actually a decent sized pot. It's got two markers inside going from 0.5 litres to 1 litre, which is just around here. I don't think I've actually ever really needed to boil more than a litre worth of water. Normally I just use this to boil water for a coffee or a porridge in the morning, which obviously doesn't need a litre of water, so I tend to just pour what I need into my cup, pour my cup into there, sorted. But it is nice to know that if I do need to boil up to a litre, I do have that capacity in there to do so. Now, another thing that I'm not too keen on with this stove is the handle. I'm not a fan of having this handle sticking out. It just feels when there's a lot of water in there, it does tend to get a bit tense on the hinge just here. It hasn't snapped or failed on me at all, which obviously if it did, I would have sent this back. I would have got a new one. But I don't know what it is. It just doesn't feel ergonomically right for me. I do prefer something with a D handle on it so I can grip it from the side. My hand's a bit closer to all of the weight rather than having it back here and having that strain. But it is still a decent handle to use. It is solid, to be fair. It is just a red plastic covering on it. On the bottom, it does have a wind diffuser, mainly these slotted triangles all the way around. And on the bottom, it does have a series of metal pieces that will help diffuse the wind. If the wind was going to blow into it, it would disperse it a little bit, hopefully not blowing out the flame. So that's the pot really. Let's put that to one side. Move on to the stove body itself. So as you can see, it is quite well used. This is quite charred. My piezo igniter has got a bit of gunk on it, so it doesn't always spark first time, which is a bit annoying, but that could just do with a bit of a clean with a little wire brush or something. A bit dirty on the inside from the multiple use. Haven't really cleaned it that much, but as you can see, it's got plenty of slots in the body there to allow airflow from underneath. The regulator is a decent sized handle on there. That's pretty much all I can say about it. What I will say is this is quite loud. I've had a few comments from Alex, mainly in the morning when he's still asleep or just waking up, and I've got this on and it's raring, boiling the water for my coffee in the morning. He has made that comment to me quite a few times. But do I care? Not really. Let's turn it on and you can just see what I mean. That's quite loud. See what I mean? It's quite loud. Compared to some other stoves, that is quite an intense flame, which is ideal if it is pretty shit weather out there and you do need a stronger flame. That's less likely to blow out. Now it does come with a stove adapter or pots and pan adapter, and that just literally just sits on in there, and you can put your pans, your pots or whatever on top, and you don't necessarily need to use the one that it comes with. Now, what I will say when doing this, I have done this a couple times, and if it is windy, you do not have any protection whatsoever for the flame, which isn't ideal. It hasn't blown out on me, but I have had to shield it with with whatever I had to hand at that time. But I don't tend to use it that often because I have a decent sized capacity pot there if I do actually want to cook anything inside it. So that is a basic how to put it together and how it functions, and just a little bit about the individual pieces. What I will do now though is I will set this back up and I'm going to boil enough water to fill my coffee in the mornings, just to see how long it does actually take to boil, because I don't think I've actually tested that, and it will be interesting to see. I did do a review on a off-brand Amazon stove, and that boiled at 1 minute 4 seconds. So will this be any quicker? Let's have a look. So what I'll do is I'll actually pour enough water into this cup, like so, just up to there, and I will then pour that into the top here, just so I know it's roughly the same amount as what I'd have for a coffee. Who the hell is texting me? Go away. Let's put the lid on. Let's move this to the side. What we'll do is I'll turn this on, get this going, hit start on the stopwatch, see how long it takes to come to a boil. Now that has come to a boil. It is quite hard to hear it come to a boil because that flame is so loud, but there it is. It's come to a boil and it's 1 minute 14, 10 seconds more than the cheap Amazon stove. Not sure what's going on there, but it is what it is. Now let's pour this into the cup, because why not? Let's just show you how difficult and awkward it is to pour it in using this handle. So you're not getting a good angle of this. It is a little bit awkward using that handle. There it is. It's all boiled in there. Yeah. 1 minute 14. I'm quite surprised with that. I mean, it's still relatively quick. I think it's quicker than a kettle. I don't know. Maybe I'll try that next time. I'll do a comparison with this stove and a kettle, see which boils faster. Anyway, so that is the stove up and running. Example of how it works, the time it takes to boil, 350 milliliters of water approximately. So my opinion on this after a year of using it, pros and cons. Now it's always easy to find the negatives of something rather than the positives. So I am going to go with the negatives first. The things I don't like about this, as I mentioned, was this lid. Hard, quite brittle. If you drop it on something hard or sharp, could crack, could smash. Not really much I can do about that, but that is one thing I don't like. The next thing I didn't like was this handle. I would prefer D-handles like the Hero stove that OEX do, but again, not really much I can do about that. It is good if for holding it stable, giving things a stir. That is a benefit of that, but I don't often use it for cooking as such. So again, this handle isn't ideal. The next thing would be the let's just take this off. The next thing would be the piezo igniter. Now, like I said, I have had trouble igniting it, especially up on Dartmoor where it's been quite cold. And I've spent a couple clicks like that trying to get it to light. It does light eventually, but not first time all the time, which is it is what it is. It's not always going to work, but the reliability on that piezo igniter isn't really up to scratch. There is one more thing I dislike about this stove, but I can't really explain that until I've packed it all away, and you'll see why. So I'm going to move on to the positives of it. The positives: the regulator is good, sturdy, quality material. It flips over quite nice, and as soon as you flip it over, you don't need to give it any turns to make sure that the valve is off. That is something that I really do like. It's a nice feel to it. It's got a nice red sleeve around it, so that's ideal. The legs for the gas canister are a good quality material. They clip into place quite well. They're not stiff to move, and it does give you a bit of movement on it, so you can turn this canister around if you want to turn your pot around. You don't have to pick it up and just like carefully move it over. It does rotate quite freely, and it is stable. Another positive thing that I do like about it is I do like the design of it. I do like the black and the red with the OEX, and on the other side I do like the Takana solo cook system on it. And that is pretty much it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I pack it away, because that took a lot of practice for me, finding the right method to do that. So what I do is I have the canister legs sit on top of the bottom of the stove body. It does slot in there quite nicely. There's not a lot of movement, and then I'll just push that into the bottom like so. Canister, let's put the lid on, would go in next. Now, I don't always take this with me. Sometimes this just stays in the cupboard, but for the purpose of this video, that's going to go in upside down, and that just rests on top of the gas canister, and then again the lid on top. Now, I'll explain the other negative of this stove, which is packing it away. You're folding it over. That's nice and steady. It's still a little bit flappy, which is fine. It's not going anywhere because you've got to pull this back with some force. What I don't like is this wire with two little beads on it. Now, in theory, it is a good idea because it clips it in, stops it all from coming apart. But do you need that? Because it's more of a hindrance, and I'll explain why by putting it away. This bag is quite tight. It's quite a bit of a pain in the ass to put your stove away. It snags on every little bit. So I'm constantly having to push things in to get it away. So that is a negative for me as well. It could do with having a slightly bigger bag. Only has to be about a centimetre bigger, and it would fit in there perfectly, and that would be another pro, to be fair, because who doesn't love an oversized bag for any of their camping equipment? So my thoughts on the OEX TACANA solo stove. After a year of using it, I can't really say I haven't enjoyed having it, because it's been a godsend to me. It's done all the jobs I needed it to do. It is a stove at the end of the day. It is quite expensive, £79, but if you look out for deals on it, like I did, £42. No brainer. Definitely get yourself one of these. You can get a smaller version of this, which is the Hero, and I think that retails at £55, but that is a lot smaller and a lot more compact. I'd say that's something more for just your drinks. If you do want to cook anything, I would get this one because it is a bigger capacity at 1 litre. So before I finish this video, I will just run through some of the specs. When the handle is folded out, it is 254 millimeters wide, and when it has the stove body underneath it, it is 265 millimeters high. When it's packed away like it is now, it's actually 133 millimeters wide by 205 high. And like I said, it does have a max capacity of 1 litre, which is ample, I believe. It does have a efficiency rating of 158 grams of gas per hour, which on a small canister like I've been using there was around an hour and a half of total boiling time. So on the box, it does state that it has a boiling time of 3 minutes per litre. I found that's not actually true. When I done a test a long time ago, I don't think it did come out with that. But 350 milliliters ish, 1 minute 14 seconds, a modest time, I'd say. It does weigh just over 0.6 kilos, which I don't think is too heavy at all. And like I said, the price of it at the moment is £79 from Go Outdoors. Now, would I look at getting another stove? I don't think I would. I mean, it works absolutely fine. I don't really have any functionality issues with it, other than having to press the igniter a couple of times when it's a bit windy out there. Definitely worth the price. 100% agree with that. I mean, what else is there to say about it? It's a stove. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please consider subscribing to the channel for more hiking, wild camping, and gear reviews. And I will see you all next time. I'll see you later.